Good morning again from Yami B TV. Wishing you all well. Sending loads of love your way as usual. Now, I forgot to tell you that last week I made a decision to change my day-to-day routine out here. Now, it involves getting back to my physical training, and it's been a couple of years, and with the injuries all the joints have got tighter and closed in, so making my reaching and my movements from certain angles very difficult for me now. With some clean time under my belt now, I'm going back to the drawing board and the basic fundamental things that kept me mentally and physically strong for most of my life. So going into the park this week to start my stretching first, then do my hopping and jumping around next week with the movement kind of stuff, and then running the week after that. But I was running this morning, but I was thinking it's no good running straight away. I mean, you're too excited. Like you got to loosen up everything first, because really and truly there's a lot of numb parts to the body. My physique is still holding out, but it's the insides that are mattering to me right now. And some of the scares I got while I was having some downtime were a major factor in changing the way that I'm living outside. Finally, we worked that out. Now, I was thinking this morning while I was in the park, right, about some of the greatest athletes, not lifters, weightlifters and all that. They might do a little bit of weights here and there. But I was thinking about the Olympics in jail, you know, like on certain bank holidays once a year, especially in those categories, you'll have real Olympians, believe in the Olympians, that come into those big competitions inside there, from 100 meters to 400 meters to 800 meters to the mile, high jump, long jump, etc., the shot put, the javelin. Wow, those are big things in jail, and few men. I'll give you my top 5 or 6 at the moment. Well, the first 6 that spring to my mind this morning of athletes of the proportion that I don't come across a lot in those environments, but went on, I believe, to even compete outside. I don't know, that's what I've heard. But what I saw in there, like one of the names, I think some of you lot will recognize his name from up there in Liverpool, Peter Aaron, right? I'm sure he boxed Muay Thai or some kind of fighting level. And they used to talk about it in jail a little bit. I can't remember who it was against, but I know the level was really high with Peter Aaron. Now, I'll always remember, because inside there, well, outside and inside, these things take part, like in the bleep test, you know, where you run one up, down, and it gets faster and faster. I believe, with my own eyes as well, Peter Aaron was the only prisoner that I ever saw got 16 or something close to 17 on a bleep test. Now, when I was all running that morning on the bleep test, he left it with saying, I think I reached about 13 and a half, which weren't no mean feat, especially with the way that I was living in it. But there was another couple of other guys that got 14. The level was high that day. And I was thinking, Peter Aaron, because Peter Aaron can do a bit of everything. So I have to put Peter Aaron up there as probably one of the fittest, and, you know, mixed with strength and all no weak areas at all with Peter Aaron. I'll tell you that straight, mate. And there's many men that will tell you that. Now, the other guy was Mickey McAvoy's nephew, I think. Not his son, his nephew. I think some of us, you remind me of his name. I think he went on, because his rowing machine, I think Mickey McAvoy's nephew had the best rowing machine record of all time. I'm hearing that he went on to compete outside and had a heart problem or something like that. They really got him at it. And you know, the rowing machine is very hard to beat, if you get what I mean. And I always believe the rowing machine is made for like taller, athletic men. Gregor always used to say to me, and it's like, yeah, the shorter men, you lot are going to struggle and all that. But Gregor was really good for a short man on it. But I always believed the range, and like Phil Curry was good from a prison officer's point of view on the rowing machine, right? But I found it a bit difficult when you're lifting and the joints and that kind of stuff. Give me that immediate power kind of thing. But Mickey McAvoy's nephew, I put him up there as well. Now, the other guy, there was a guy called Peter Dable. I think he went on to go on the cycling for the pros when he got out, but another guy who could do loads and loads and loads and broke records inside there. So I'm hearing that he went outside and competed on the cycle as well. So you think about a lineup like this, the competitive level of those three I've mentioned. And a guy, I remember one time when we was all lining up for the 100 meters, right? I got to the semi-finals, never got to the final, right? But when the gun went off, they went on your marks, it go bang, after 2 steps I was on the floor. I got knocked out. It's a horrible feeling, you know, and it's very, very psychologically thing when you've got to line up and everybody and you're staring at the figures around you and you know that everybody's capable. Now there was Jonathan Mason, Dungle, right? He won the athletics hands down, winning nearly all the competition. The 400 meters, he just flew, he just run fast the whole of it. It's kind of tall, Dungle, right? Wicked physique as well. Great lifter and a great footballer as well. Like he used to hang around with back in the day. But he won the 100 meters that day, and there was a whole lot of noise at the end of it. You know, like the testosterone levels in those places. You could easily have a fight after a race like that, and everybody was like arguing because it was a close knitted finish. But he nicked it on that day. Now, Jonathan Mason Dungle, right? As I think that's my fourth. And then there was a geezer. I think he's originally from Tottenham, right? One of my little young ones when he first came into the system. His name was Andrew Martins. Nelly was kind of same kind of height as Dungle, but no, similar physiques, dark, ripped, strong. Like he was like 40, 50 something, but he looks really lean for it. You wouldn't think his bones must be quite heavy. But he was another one, Nelly. But the fitness side of things, he never really got into. But he was naturally kind of fit. But his strength and his sporting skills had enough, you know, like for one-off events in those category A's. So I think that's 5. Dino Smith as well. Dino Smith, he was from South London, Dino. His fitness levels are really, really high. But I'm going to come up soon with I'm trying to remember Olympic when everybody was there at the same time, because certain times you could be in jails and only a couple are there at the same time and they win everything relatively easy. So when I do my Olympic thing up here, I'm going to make sure I remember when the field and everybody's there at the same time, right? So yeah, stay good. It's just getting a bit darker out there now. I've got a very another serious subject coming up in a little while. Another lady from an ex-partner has been murdered, again with more failings from the authorities. Get ready for that in a little while, probably in about an hour. Sending loads of love.